Dear friends, welcome to our channel. This is your advocate. I have another channel for Tamil speaking people that's called Sattakural, where I have been talking on law provisions. Many of the law provisions and sections are left unused. And these provisions and law sections are being brought out by me. And I have been talking on those sections. Thereby, people may benefit out of it. Both the lawyers and the common public as well. And this is in English. I'm going to talk on today. It's a well-known act. Everybody have been using this act, RTA Act 2005. Everybody has been using it. But there is, here it's not a provision, but there is a thing which many of us don't know about. This is a particular thing that I'm going to talk about today. Will be of immense use to those people who use these acts very commonly, and they benefit out of it, and this will be of much use. Much use for those people who do want to do some work for the society. Dear friends, this particular act was enacted in 2005, that you know. And how we have to file RTA petitions, many of us know, because we do use that act, and we have been getting information out of these petitions. And particularly those people who have been affected are the victims, are those people who have been the victim, mostly the victims, would apply for information to be obtained from the authorities. Mostly we have three types of system in the governmental administration. What are they? Public authority, private entity, private-public partnership entities. First is public authority, private entity, private-public partnership entities. These are the three system of government or governmental administration. Okay. Now, Section 2H speaks about public authorities, right? And wherein you could find whether it is possible for us to file RTI petitions for information from the private entities. Now I'm just going to clear you. I'm going to give you a clear picture whether it is possible for us to give, file petitions with private entities and private-public partnership entities, all such. Now this is very important today, because most of the people who have been affected are most of the people want to have some information from the public-private entities and the private entities. This they seem seem to be impossible for them, and I could say there is no transparency in the private entities, because they are very proud and they know that there is no such thing as RTA Act for them, and they can act in any way. This is what is felt by those people, and they are at freedom. They can do their thing, but it should not affect the public. So how we have to do all these things, and how we have to apply for getting information from those people. This is what we are going to deal with today. And you would have heard about Thirukkural. That is in Tamil Nadu, the book which is one of the books which has been translated in most of the languages next to the Bible. And in Tirukkural, there is a Kural 975, Kural number 975, that goes like this: பெருமை உடையவர் ஆற்றுவார் ஆற்றின் அருமை உடைய செயல். This is in Tamil. I have translated this like this. I have not translated this Kural alone. I have translated all 1330 Kurals. The whole book, it has been published and it has been uploaded like anything. That Kural 975, that says like this: visionaries or missionaries who do great work. So those people who have the vision will do the mission to accomplish their work. If they do that, we don't have anything to question them. If they don't do it, automatically we will be inclined and we will be constrained to question them, just to know about. It will not be hindered. The law allows us to do that. That's what we are going to see today. RTI was introduced, as you know, in 2005. The important thing in the RTI Act is 2H, section 2H, which says like this, which goes like this: any authority, body or institution which is either self-governed or has been constituted by or under the Constitution of India or under any law passed by the Parliament or by any other law passed by the state legislature, by notification issued or order made by appropriate government, inclusive of those body owned, controlled or substantially financed, not governmental organizations substantially financed directly or indirectly by the government. These organizations and bodies are considered public authorities who are directly covered under RTA Acts, whereas private bodies do not come under the ambit of RTA Act directly. This is what is given there. But now we are going to see how private bodies can be questioned. How the private bodies can be questioned and how we can file with those private entities. This is a very important thing in this particular video. The private entities, the organization which does not comply with the definition of public authority under section 2H of the RTA Act, it's considered to be private entities. Now, are you clear? The organizations which do not comply with the definition of public entities or authority under section 2H is considered to be private entities. But just being a private entity does not exempt one from RTA Act. That is important. Just being a private entity does not exempt one from RTA Act. Any citizen can avail information from the public entities and the private entities. How? As stated under the RTA Acts, only those private organizations which have been substantially funded, only these are covered under RTA Acts, which includes the NGOs, non-governmental organizations, schools, colleges, which have been aided by the government. Substantially funded means either the government has invested in it or is providing any aid in the process of working, which will also include aid as in the equity or subsidies in land. In case of private-public partnership, one can get information and get solved its queries by filing an RTA application to the public partner, right? If it's an NGO or if it's a school, college funded by the government or financed by the government, or if aid is given to the aided schools, aided colleges, also come under this RTA Act. who is aided by the law to provide such information which has been asked. Okay, now private schools also come under RTA Act. Private schools being a private entity is not covered under RTA Act directly. This was said a long back. Now what has happened now in India and in Delhi and in Chennai? These are the particular things that I want to tell you clearly. First, private schools being private entity is not covered under the RTA Act directly. But as per the Central Information Commission, any information with the government relating to the regulation and management of the private schools are covered under the RTA Act. Hence, it means that citizen cannot directly file an RTA application to private schools, but can file an application for information to the government's authority under which it is registered or to the government department which controls it. This way it was commonly known. Now something more has happened now. In the case of Kanapuram Kantaya versus administrative officer and others, where the Supreme Court of India stated that as per section 6 of the RTA Act, only these information relating to the private entity could be obtained which can be accessed by the public authority under any other law. This was spoken, and in the New Delhi there is particular law is there. Society is dynamic, so it is time now to maintain the decorum of the society. Many changes are being brought in different parts of in different legislation, and hence with the time span changes have been brought out in the RTA Act. Now we know about the amendment that has been brought in the RTA Act. The recent change was brought by the Central Information Commission, who stated the schools which are covered under the Delhi Education Act, Delhi Education Act 1973, and the Right to Information Act 2009. Now it was introduced in 2005. Now according to the Central Information Commission, these two acts, Delhi Education Act 1973 and Right to Education Act 2009. Sorry, Right to Education Act 2009, and this one, 2005 is the Information Act, Right to Information Act. Right to Education Act 2009. Right to Education Act is different from the Right to Information Act. Another act is also there. I will be dealing with all those acts. Right to Service Act, which are this act has not been implemented in many of the states, but there is a thing with the Right to Service Act that is also there. So many acts which have not been covered by the states. Many of the states have left those acts being implemented. Those things are also there, but we can think about that. And Right to Education Act 2009 will be covered under RTA, irrespective of its being a private entity or public entity. This means that any citizen could file an RTA against them to ensure transparency. This was what the Central Information Commission declared and said. In relation to Delhi Education Act under the RTA Act section 2F, which states that every private school under section 4, section 8 of Delhi Education Act has a duty to follow the regulatory conditions of services and has to keep the record of the same which are covered under the RTA of the employees, and hence the Central Information Commission passed an order which was sustained by the Delhi High Court, that public authority as well as private authorities mandated to provide information on service records, salaries, seats of total vacancies in classes, but to some issues like estimated receipt of budget statement denoting the salary disbursement or payments of the ensuing year. Okay, this goes like this, and now we come to this one. The information gathered through these government authorities will be covered under section 2F of the Acts. which deals with information relating to private bodies which have been gathered through public authority, through different laws regulating these private authorities. How we can file an RTA against private authority? Firstly, one has to recover information relating to the government regulator or government departments with which it is registered, as many of the private entities are controlled by some other government department. For example, schools are regulated and controlled by the district education officer. Secondly, we have to locate the public information officer or the other authority to which the RTA application can be sent, filed. Through this, one can avail information regarding private schools. Apart from this, a person filing the application has to comply with the RTA format or such. Okay. Now another important aspect: private aided schools worried about RTA. Now these private schools which are aided by the government are worried about these RTA acts, private aided schools that come under the purview of the Right to Information Act, are worried about these acts. What happened is a seminar was organized by the Principals Association in what happened is 2018. There was a seminar conducted by the Principals Association on April 26th, 2018. What happened? There they discussed about the education. They discussed about all these things. Education officials were also present in the seminar. One of the principals of our school, that school is St. Ursula Girls High School. She said, "We are literally harassed by multiple RTIs and it takes up too much of our time to clarify their questions." This was what was said by the principal in the seminar conducted. And another principal who was there, he or she said, another principal did not want to mention his name, said, "Most of the time of staff member is kept busy only because of this. Finding records, collecting data is taking too much of our time and is not desirable," he said. But at the same time, Dipendra Logende, District Education Officer, Primary Section District Education Officer was there. He said, all schools that take any form of grant from the government come under the RTA Act and it will have to be complied with. He said this way, "I have however seen that overwhelming majority of applications are filed directly with our office now rather than the schools." So now we understand two things. The application petitions can be filed with the schools, private aided schools, and either can be filed before the schools or submitted to the DEO, District Education Officer. But here he says most of the applications are filed with the DEO only. The seminar organized by School Headmaster Charitable Association, another seminar. That said, we'll also be discussing other crucial issues like right to education or such, salary, pension, along with now a new curriculum for standard 10th all such. The other important thing that will be discussed is that the state's flagship program all such were discussed over there. Now, in Chennai, what happened? In Chennai, the State Information Commission that gave one judgment, one order, that held that the private schools in the state will have to furnish information under RTA Act. The Chennai, Tamil Nadu, what happened is Tamil Nadu State Information Commission. You know about the Tamil Nadu State Information Commission is said. This happened in 2019, December. The latest update in Chennai, or you can say it is the latest update in the RTA Act. It happened in 2019 December. What he said is Tamil Nadu State Information Commission has held that the private schools in the state will have to furnish information under RTI, especially those receiving financial assistance from the government. This was the gist of an order passed by the Information Commissioner. I read out what is the information. I just give you the gist of the order. There was a case filed by Mutturaj on December 2, 2019. Yes, Mutturaj. While adjudicating an RTA application filed by M. Kannan with Srimati Saraswati Muthusamy Global School in Old Pallavara. Okay, this was the gist of an order passed by Information Commissioner S. Mutturaj on December 2nd day of December 2019. While adjudicating an RTA application filed by M. Kannan with Srimati Saraswati Muthusamy Global High School in Old Pallavara. In October 2018, Kannan had filed an RTA with the school asking for details such as number of sections in each grade, number of teachers, their qualification, remuneration, and details about the headmaster. He approached the commission with a second appeal after his RTA and first appeal went unanswered. What happened is, during his hearing, he clarified that all such things and he was not given any information by the school. He appealed again. And when he appealed, what happened is, the private school, when he appealed before the district education officer, he said, he asked the school to furnish information, but the school went to the court, went to the commission. Okay. And the first appeal went unanswered. During the hearing, he clarified that he was not a third party. The school said that he is a third party, asking for information. But he said he is not the third party. Third party, as children of his close relatives were studying in the school. The school's legal advisor, Prasad Madhavan, told the commission that they were a private school following UK curriculum and hence did not come under the purview of the RTA Act. But what happened, you know? Finally, he submitted the information, he gave the information. But Mutturaj invoked section 19(8), subsection 8 and A, to justify that the school had to give information under RTI. He said private schools were run through trust recognized by the government. It was the government's responsibility to ensure safety, security, health, and rights of students and employees. Mutturaj said in case of aided and public schools, vital information could be obtained by parents to give a solution to issues. But in private schools, information would deny justice to parents. The school in question was run by a trust, and both the central and state governments provided it tax exemptions and benefits. It was also under the purview of the RTA Act. So schools get a subsidized power and water. Vehicles registered in the trust name are given concession and benefits, he said. Mutturaj said parents had every right to get information about the schools in which their wards study. The information includes details about management, correspondence, teaching, non-teaching staff, as well as driver and attendance. Mutturaj cited Article 19 of the Constitution and said the school was not exempted under RTA Act. So that went like that. Order was given. In 2007, there is a case that also said aided schools bound by RTA Act. High Court said, which High Court? Chennai, Madras High Court said, what a state-aided private recognized schools was a public authority. This was said by the Madras High Court. The court said the schools are bound to provide information sought under the Right to Information Act. And this happened when a petition filed by Diamond Jubilee Higher Secondary School, an aided school in Erode district. This was a challenge filed by the school against the order of the district authorities to furnish certain information to a private firm. What the judge said, the Honorable Honorable Justice K. Chandru said, once a school was covered under the law, there was no escape for the petitioner management from providing information sought by a citizen. Judge said, the right to information or the right to freedom of information refers to an individual's right or freedom to seek public information, where information means any material relating to the affairs, administrative or decision of public authority. It's mandatory that flow of information must be free. The judge said this happened. So again he pointed out that Tamil Nadu spent over rupees 1 crore on providing 100% of salary to all teachers for whom posts have been sanctioned. He said this clearly showed that the school received substantial funding. The school had moved the court to a circular issued by the district authorities directing the management to furnish information. So Justice Chandru said the school is bound to give information sought for. This way we have now the RTA Acts updated, and we can file RTA petitions before the schools also, and the schools are bound to give us information, and they have to automatically they are bound by this information. Private schools to come under RTA Act. Again, private schools also. This dispute, there was a judgment given by order given by Central Information Commission. The order came on an RTA plea filed by an employee of Jindal Public School with the Directorate of Education seeking a certified copy of service book and other details from a past employer. The Directorate of Education provided the information available with them, but the school refused to furnish the reply. So, whatever it is, private unaided schools are challenged, but anyhow, aided schools are bound by that. So, when we file an RTA petition before the private entities like schools, aided colleges, they have to give information. It's mandatory. Madras High Court has given the order, and even Tamil Nadu State Commission has given that order, and everything is updated. In Madras High Court that happened in 2007, but Tamil Nadu State Commission has given that order in December 2019. This way it has been updated. Let's use that, and we can have the benefit out of applying or filing petitions before the schools when we want to have some transparency of their administration and all such. Thank you. And you can, if you like this video, you can press the like button, and you can subscribe if you want more videos, and we will be releasing more videos on sections, especially sections and provisions which are unused and left unused. And I have been giving all these things in Tamil also. That's called Satta Kural. You can subscribe both, or at least if you don't know Tamil, you can subscribe this one, Your Advocate, and you will be having a number of videos. Thank you very much.